Jim Boeheim, national champion and Hall of Fame coach, of course. Morning, Coach.
Good morning, guys.
How you doing, Coach B?
I'm really good. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate it. Listen to those highlights. Steph Curry, Kawhi Leonard. Nobody recruited those two guys. That's how smart we are in college.
Coach Boeheim, I just want to tell you guys real quick. Coach Boeheim really, obviously I played for Coach K, but Coach B elevated my career playing USA basketball, and it was kind of going to my sophomore year where I exploded. And, Coach, I'll never forget you said something to me. He's like, Jay, just be you. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know who the hell I am yet, Coach. But you helped me find that person. What has coaching over the past 47 years meant to you, Coach?
Well, it's everything, to be able to coach at your school, play here, being a grad assistant coach, and then coach for 47 years. I've been here 61 years straight, never left. And it's just, I couldn't be happier. I know what Lou Gehrig meant when he said, I'm the luckiest man on the face of the earth. I feel that way. You just don't get that opportunity. And it's just been an unbelievable experience. And, we've had great players and great coaches to work with. And I'm just so thrilled Adrian Autry is taking over and, great player for us. And he's been a great assistant coach, and he's going to be a great head coach. So I just couldn't be happier. And the week I've had, it feels like there's a 200-pound weight right off your back. When I kind of got used to it over 47 years, but I've been to Detroit to watch Buddy play. I'm going to go to Europe to watch Jimmy play in another couple weeks. It's just a great feeling I was a little scared of retirement, and actually I'm thrilled. It's just been great. It's been a great time. And all I'm doing is when I look backwards, I used to think of the losses. Now when I look backwards, I'm just thinking about the wins. So that's a really good feeling.
Exactly. Coach, I have to ask you, because knowing you for as long as I have, and I'm glad that that's the perspective that you have right now, but going back to after you guys lost in ACC tourney, did you want to stop coaching, Coach B? Did you think that you had way more left in the tank?
I decided about a month and a half ago. We lost 4 games in a row by 20 points, and, nothing like that had ever happened to us. And the losses, we probably should have lost to those teams, but we were 17 and 15 this year. We played 5 freshmen a lot. 3 started at times. We expected to be about 17, but the way we played those games, it just wasn't good. The only reason there was an awkward press conference is we hadn't met to, figure out what's going to happen. And we met right after that for an hour, and everything was settled. Everybody's happy. And I wish it happened the week before, but it didn't. But I would tell you if I had wanted to coach, I would have told everybody. I don't hold back when something happens, but I was done and happy to be done. It ended not as well as I'd like this year, but I've had 47 years and 45 pretty darn good ones, and 2 or 3 that were a little bit down. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the whole body of work, as they say.
Talking to Coach Jim Boeheim, national champion, of course, and Hall of Fame coach. Coach, I can't even imagine I'm 49, right? I'll be 50 in August. So I was born in 73. You've been head coach since 76. I can't imagine doing anything for 47 years.
I loved every minute of it, but now that I have retired, it's just a great feeling to get up and not have to worry about the NIL and the transfer portal. Those 2 things are here to stay. They're going to be very difficult to navigate. I think coaches will do it, but we'll have a different game going forward in terms of how we get players and, how they fit in and if they'll stay. We just retired Hakeem Warwick's jersey, And his freshman year, he played about 10 minutes a game, maybe. And I don't think he'd come back in today's world. But he came back and blocked the shot that won the national championship the next year, the very next year. So, different world today. I think it has led to a lot more balance. I think you're going to see huge number of upsets or close games this year in the tournament, which I think is good for college basketball. But there's a very slim line between the teams that are supposedly not power schools or the 5th and 6th place team in a league and the top teams in a league. You look at these teams, who do you think out there that team can't be beat? There is none.
There's nobody.
I have to go with JWill, who really qualified our team one year for the for the World Championship on his shoulders. But I look at his school. I mean, what are they, 18-1 in the one game that they didn't get the 2 foul shots they should have gotten, and they had an 80% free throw shooter on the line. He makes one of those. They could be on a 19-20 game winning streak. So you got to like Duke. A 5th seed? No, they're not a 5th seed.
Basketball Hall of Famer Jim Boeheim joining us here on Keyshawn, JWill and Max. Coach, I do want to ask you something, because you made mention of Hakeem Wark, and you talked about the transfer portal. How difficult is it to actually coach kids these days when it doesn't feel like they need to be held accountable? Because if you coach them too hard, they can just leave and go into transfer portal.
I had guys this year that were young, and I coached them really hard. Not as probably quite as hard as I used to, but pretty hard. I think you have to coach them that way. Some are going to leave. One guy I was really hard on is coming back. He was even coming back before I left. It wasn't just me. But I was really hard on him, but he really improved. I think he saw that. So I think you can still coach hard, but it's just part of coaching. You have to be aware that guys are going to leave, and you have to kind of plan ahead. Well, this guy could leave, so it's difficult because you can't wait until a guy tells he's leaving, because that could be May. So do you get a guy in that position? And it's also hard to get a guy in that position because you have a guy in that position. So it's very hard to manage when you get a kid, when you don't get a kid. We actually had 12 scholarship players this year, which I never have. But we were afraid we were going to lose some guys, and we didn't. And so we actually had too many guys. So it's very difficult to navigate, and it's there. It's interesting that half the guys that transfer out of 1,600 guys, about half of them struggle to find a scholarship. And of the other half, about 50% of them did worse where they transferred to. So some make it, and you read about it, but some really struggle. It's hard when you transfer. It's great for players to have that freedom, but you make mistakes that way. But you can make mistakes sometimes. I've had many guys that didn't play as freshmen that much that went on to have tremendous careers. Jeremy Grant's going to sign for about $120 million with Portland. And he played as a freshman, but not a lot. But he became a great player. So it's hard. It's a hard world to navigate right now.
That is Coach Jim Boeheim, ladies and gentlemen, who is happy in retirement. Coach, thanks a million for joining us.
When you guys talk about things, I love listening to you. But one thing about the money, there's 250 schools that play college basketball that don't play college football, that don't make any money. Don't make a penny, even though there's $1 billion NCAA tournament contract. And probably 90% of the football schools don't make any money either. So it's a hard time in college athletics. I'm happy the players are getting money. It just didn't turn out the way everybody thought. NIL would turn out.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
yeah,
buddy.
Jay, I hope you heard what he said. It's not like you think it is.
All right, Coach.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.